The stars above shimmered like shards of fractured crystal, stretching endlessly across the void. Commander Elias Thorne felt the hum of the starship beneath his feet, each pulse a reminder that he was alive, that he still had a mission, that he still had a choice. The bridge was silent except for the software of the navigation systems and the distant echo of his own heartbeat. The alien queen awaited him. Not just any alien, but a being whose name sent ripples of fear across multiple sectors. A ruler whose empire spanned galaxies, whose power bent worlds at her will. Yet Elias did not fear her. He stepped forward, the metallic floor cold under his boots, the scent of ozone and engine grease filling his nostrils. Every fiber of his being was alert. He could feel the tension in the air, a pressure almost tangible, as if the vacuum itself hesitated before him. The Queen's chamber was immense, impossibly vast, lined with crystalline spires that glowed with a sickly green luminescence. Shadows twisted and danced along the walls, cast by unknown energy currents that pulsed like living veins. Her form appeared from the darkness, towering, regal, and terrifying. Her skin shimmered like liquid night. Her eyes twin orbs of molten gold that pierced Elias's soul. "Why do you avoid me, human?" Her voice rolled across the chamber, like thunder beneath ice. Elias inhaled slowly, letting the weight of her presence settle against him. The room seemed to shrink, the walls bending toward him, yet his spine remained rigid. "I do not avoid you because I fear you," he said, voice steady, measured, each word deliberate. "I avoid you because I know exactly what humanity is capable of." A ripple ran through her, a mixture of curiosity and irritation. She leaned forward, her claws tapping the crystalline floor, resonating like a warning drum. "Speak plainly, or be consumed by your hesitation," she hissed, the words laced with menace that could twist lesser beings into dust. Elias's mind raced. He thought of the countless worlds the humans had touched, the impossible odds they had defied, the ancient powers they had bent, and the deadly choices they had survived. "I avoid you because humans are not meant to kneel," he said. "We do not bow to fear, not to power, not to gods, not to queens. You mistake compliance for intelligence, conquest for inevitability. Humanity proves every day that limits exist only to be shattered." The queen's eyes narrowed, the molten gold burning brighter. A tremor ran through the spires, a hiss of energy cascading across the chamber. Yet there was something new in her gaze. Respect. "You dare to lecture me?" Her voice broke like a storm, furious yet trembling with intrigue. "I do not lecture," Elias said. "I demonstrate. Every time we survive when others fall, every time we rise from worlds you consider lost, every time we bend fate to our will, we prove a truth that cannot be erased. Humans endure. Humans conquer. Humans define themselves in the face of the impossible." A silence fell, thick and heavy, stretching across the chamber like a living entity. Elias felt the weight of her presence pressing down, her alien essence probing, testing, calculating. Then something shifted. Her massive frame knelt, slow and deliberate, the golden eyes not of submission, but of revelation. You are unlike any I have ever encountered," she whispered, her voice trembling between awe and disbelief. Elias felt the tension in his shoulders ease slightly, though his senses remained on edge. This was not victory. Not yet. This was recognition. And recognition could be dangerous in a universe that had no patience for weakness. "I am human," he said simply, "and humanity has never been defeated." The chamber vibrated, energy cascading through the crystalline spires like lightning caught in glass. A challenge had been issued, an unseen force testing the limits of both human and alien. Elias knew that what came next would decide not just his fate, but the fate of every human colony in this sector. The queen rose, her expression unreadable now, a mixture of curiosity, wariness, and something that bordered on respect. "You leave me with questions I cannot answer, human," she said, voice low, almost reverent. "Perhaps I underestimated your species. Perhaps I underestimated you." Elias's hand rested lightly on the hilt of his plasma blade, the familiar hum of reassurance against the impossible odds. The universe beyond the chamber waited, vast, dangerous, and indifferent, and humans thrived in the indifferent expanse. The alien queen had learned something today. though she would never admit it aloud. Humans were not to be controlled, not to be caged, not to be predicted. And Elias Thorne, human commander, had become the first proof. He turned to the observation deck, where stars stretched like an ocean, infinite and full of peril. He could hear the whispers of countless worlds calling for challenge, adventure, conquest, and survival. A shiver ran down his spine, not of fear, but of anticipation. Every star, every world, every shadowed corner of the universe whispered a challenge, and humans had never refused one. The alien queen lingered behind him, her presence almost a tangible weight, like gravity wrapped in molten gold. "You do not fear me," she said, her voice a mixture of curiosity and something Elias could not name. "And yet you tread closer to chaos than any being I have ever encountered. Why?" Elias turned slightly, letting the green luminescence of her spires dance across his face. His eyes were steady, unwavering, the kind of gaze that had survived ambushes on hostile worlds, cosmic storms, and alien treacheries beyond comprehension. "Humans do not fear chaos," he said. "We navigate it, bend it, and sometimes we survive it when others perish." The queen circled him, her form fluid and terrifying, like liquid shadow shaped into perfection. She was the apex predator of the cosmos, yet for the first time, her movements carried a cautious curiosity rather than predation. "Survival is one thing," she said. "Defiance is another. You do not merely survive. You challenge me, my authority, the order of the stars themselves." Elias's jaw tightened. "Challenge is our language. The universe speaks in impossible odds, in forces no being can control, in ancient powers that defy comprehension. Humans answer with ingenuity, with courage, and with resolve. That is our way." The queen paused, her massive form stopping mid-step. For a moment, the hum of the spires filled the silence, vibrating to the floor and into Elias's bones. "Then show me," she whispered, almost as if the words were too dangerous to speak aloud. Before Elias could react, the chamber transformed. The crystalline spires shifted, morphing into a labyrinth of jagged towers and floating platforms. The air became thick with energy, charged and crackling like a storm trapped in a jar. Elias felt the surge, his muscles tightening as adrenaline coursed through his veins. This was a test, a trial of human limits against powers that had existed since before stars first burned. "Survive this," the queen said. "Conquer it, if you can, and then, perhaps, I will learn why humans deserve their place among the stars." He stepped forward, his boots landing firmly on the first floating platform. It wavered beneath his weight, unstable yet responsive, as if testing him back. The queen watched silently, her molten eyes narrowing, her form rippling with energy. Every movement of his body, every choice of step, every heartbeat was observed. She had crushed countless civilizations, yet something about Elias, about humans, made her pause. The labyrinth pulsed. Energy walls shot upward, glowing with lethal intensity. Platforms shifted, disappeared, and reformed in impossible patterns. Ancient alien glyphs floated midair, their meanings incomprehensible, yet radiating a force that could crush flesh and mind alike. Elias leapt, twisting midair to avoid a blade of pure energy that sliced the space where a platform had just been. He felt the gravitational flux, felt the weight of momentum as he landed on a trembling crystal, the platform wobbling beneath him like an unwilling beast. Every leap, every maneuver demanded intuition beyond machines, beyond computation. Every move required human ingenuity, the unpredictable spark of mind that could not be fully anticipated. He heard the queen's whisper again, carried on the hum of the labyrinth. "Impressive, but will your species endure what comes next?" From the shadows, creatures emerged, alien forms, writhing and impossible, their very biology a violation of natural laws. Tentacles of shimmering darkness lashed outward, each strike capable of rending armor and bone. Their eyes glowed with an intelligence older than human history, yet nothing in their expression matched the raw unpredictability Elias brought. He ducked under a tendril, rolling across a platform that suddenly tilted, sending him sliding toward a chasm of crackling energy. With a shove of his hand against the surface, he vaulted across the void, landing on a platform that wobbled but held. The labyrinth itself seemed alive, a test crafted from the Queen's intellect, powered by her will. Yet Elias's human instincts, honed in war zones across uncountable worlds, allowed him to adapt. He was unpredictable. He was relentless. He was human. A roar split the air, a creature larger than the tallest tower lunged. Its maw a galaxy of teeth, its tentacles capable of spanning the entire chamber. Elias felt the heat of its approach, smelled the ozone of its energy field. Without hesitation, he drew his plasma blade. Its hum cut to the charged air, a sharp contrast to the ambient energy. With a leap, he landed atop the creature's back, twisting midair, driving the blade into a chitinous ridge that split under human ingenuity. The creature howled, thrashing violently, yet Elias held on, calculating every movement with instinctual precision. From the observation platforms above, the Queen watched, her expression a mixture of disbelief and awe. "You do not merely survive," she said, voice carrying across the chamber, almost reverently. "You adapt. You conquer. You endure in ways no other species can." The labyrinth shifted again. Platforms spun, walls descended, and glyphs of ancient power flared to life, attempting to ensnare Elias in psychic bindings. Yet he moved with calculated randomness, unpredictability woven into every motion. He leapt, rolled, swung, and slid. Every step proved a truth the universe had yet to accept. Humans thrived in chaos. The creatures around him began to falter. They anticipated predictable movements, predictable fear, but Elias offered neither. He moved with courage, with strategy, with a singular human quality that no alien, no ancient power, no cosmic entity could fully counter. Ingenuity born from survival, tempered by audacity, he reached the center of the labyrinth, a platform that pulsed with energy so potent it seemed capable of splitting stars. The Queen descended, her massive form radiant with golden power. "You have survived," she said, her voice reverberating through the chamber. "You have adapted. You have conquered. And yet you remain human. How is this possible?" Elias stepped forward, the plasma blade humming in rhythm with his heartbeat. The energy beneath him crackled, threatening to consume the platform. Yet he remained steady. "It is possible," he said, voice calm but resonant, "because humanity refuses limits. We thrive where others fail. We endure where others perish. We do not merely exist. We prove, in every impossible moment, that life itself is strongest when it refuses to submit." The Queen's eyes glowed brighter, the energy around her flaring to unbearable intensity. She raised her claws, poised to strike, to punish, to test one final time. Yet Elias did not flinch. He did not bow. He did not kneel. And in that moment, the impossible occurred. The Queen knelt, her form massive and awe-inspiring, yet yielding to the truth she had witnessed. Her voice trembled, almost human in its emotion. You are unlike any being I have ever faced. Perhaps humanity is the final variable the universe has feared." Elias felt the chamber vibrate, the labyrinth dissolving into light, energy dissipating into the void. He was alive, triumphant, and human. Yet as the energy faded, a new presence stirred in the darkness beyond the stars. Ancient, malevolent, a power untouched by time, observing humanity with an intelligence older than galaxies themselves. Elias did not feel fear. He felt the thrill of challenge. The universe was vast, dangerous, indifferent, and humanity would answer every call. Because humans never surrender. Because humans never kneel. Because humans always find a way. Elias Thorne's boots echoed on the deck of his starship, the Resolute, as he walked toward the command console. Every system hummed with readiness. Every sensor thrummed like a heartbeat tuned to anticipation. The alien Queen had knelt. That in itself was an anomaly, proof that even beings who had ruled galaxies could not comprehend the human spirit. Yet Elias knew this was merely the first layer. Beyond the solar systems charted on his holographic map, a dark rift yawned, a scar across the cosmos, older than any star, thrumming with energy that defied physics and sanity alike. Ancient, sentient, and hungry. The Queen's voice resonated in his mind. carry across distances impossible for any normal communication. Elias Thorne, the darkness beyond, is not a threat mere mortals can confront. It is an intelligence older than your kind, and it consumes worlds without mercy. Why do you even consider approaching it? He placed a hand on the console, feeling the hum of interstellar engines beneath his palm. The ship vibrated in agreement, alive with human ingenuity and resolve. Because, Elias said aloud, though the Queen heard it first in the silence of thought, humans confront the impossible. We endure what others flee. We saw what others cannot. We survive, adapt, and overcome. It is what defines us. The Queen's thoughts rippled through the connection, almost incredulous. You will die, Elias. Or worse, your species will perish before you even reach it. Elias leaned over the holographic map, tracing the coordinates of the rift. Within its swirling darkness, entire star systems were already consumed. Planets shattered into drifting shards. Civilizations extinguished in the blink of an eye. Yet he saw something else. A pattern, a rhythm hidden within the chaos, waiting for a mind audacious enough to decipher it. That is exactly why I must go, he said. Because humans do not wait. Humans do not pray for salvation. Humans create it. The Queen's presence flickered beside him, immense and awe-inspiring. Her molten gold eyes narrowed, assessing, calculating. And you will confront it alone? Not alone, Elias replied. The crew, the engineers, the scientists, the soldiers, they are all human. Every one of us carries a piece of the answer, a fragment of ingenuity no alien force can predict. That is our weapon. That is why we endure where others fall. The rift loomed closer as the Resolute entered its gravitational pull. Stars warped and twisted in the display, distorted into impossible arcs. Cosmic winds lashed at the ship, threatening to tear it apart. The crew braced against the acceleration, their eyes wide but hearts steady. Elias stood at the helm, senses sharp, intuition honed through decades of combat and exploration. Every system flickered under the influence of the rift, yet the humans aboard moved with seamless precision, adjusting, adapting, thriving in a realm where even machines trembled. From the heart of the rift, a form began to emerge. It was massive, vast beyond comprehension. A shape that should not exist, a consciousness that radiated malice older than time itself. Its surface shimmered like fractured obsidian, tendrils of energy reaching out, probing, testing, calculating the humans. The alien Queen appeared behind him, no longer kneeling, yet cautious. It is beyond anything I have felt, and you intend to face it? I intend to survive it, Elias said. His voice carried calm determination, unwavering. I intend to understand it, and I intend to prove that humanity does not yield no matter the odds. The rift's entity pulsed, the air around it vibrating with a sound that was more felt than heard. Ships from other species had approached this rift and vanished. Entire fleets had been annihilated without trace. The universe had declared it impossible to survive. Elias leaned into the challenge. Impossible is not a word humans recognize, he said. Impossible is simply an invitation. The entity reacted, a tendril of pure energy lashing toward the ship. Sensors screamed with overload, warning of catastrophic hull failure. Yet Elias remained steady, directing the crew with precise commands, calculating trajectories that no simulation had predicted. Now, he shouted, and a surge of energy pulsed from the ship's engines, a warp field manipulated with human creativity to counter the rift's pull. The ship twisted and darted, weaving to the tendrils, every maneuver a gamble that only humans could anticipate and execute. The Queen watched silent, her presence both spectator and participant, witnessing humanity's audacity in the face of annihilation. Then, the impossible happened. Elias detected a pattern within the chaos, a rhythm hidden in the pulse of the entity. With instinct and intuition, he manipulated the ship's energy flow, mirroring the pattern. The entity hesitated, its tendrils faltering, the dark mass pulsing uncertainly for the first time in millennia. The crew gasped. He is reading it, whispered the chief engineer. He is predicting it. No, he is communicating with it. Elias's mind raced, connecting the patterns with quantum calculations, with human intuition, with the raw willpower that had carried humanity across centuries of survival. "Prepare the resonator," he ordered. "Synchronize with my frequency." The crew moved with flawless precision, every human action combining intellect, courage, and instinct. The ship pulsed. The engines thrummed, and a beam of harmonic energy shot toward the entity, not as a weapon, but as a bridge, a signal, a challenge. The entity recoiled, confused, probing, yet understanding only partially. It had not faced beings who could adapt so quickly, think so fluidly, and act with both courage and creativity simultaneously. Elias held the beam steady, pouring every ounce of human ingenuity, every flicker of audacity, every pulse of survival instinct into the resonance. And then the entity paused. The rift trembled. Stars that had been consumed shimmered as fragments of light returned. The impossible receded, not in defeat, but in reluctant acknowledgement. The Queen's voice trembled with awe. "No species, no intelligence has ever done this. You are extraordinary." Elias lowered the resonator. His body trembled from the effort, yet his gaze remained steady. "We are human," he said. "We survive. We adapt. We endure. And we never kneel to forces, no matter how old, no matter how vast, no matter how alien." The entity withdrew, leaving the rift as a scar across the void, still dangerous, still ancient, but now tempered by the undeniable fact that humanity could face it. The Queen knelt again, not in submission, but in acknowledgement, a gesture of respect reserved for the rarest beings in the cosmos. "You have taught me," she whispered, "that even the oldest powers, the most impossible forces, can be met with will, ingenuity, and courage by your kind. You are remarkable." Elias turned toward the observation deck, stars stretching endlessly before him. The universe was vast, dangerous, and indifferent, yet humans had once again proved their uniqueness. Their strength, intelligence, and courage shone brighter than any supernova. Stars flared in distant clusters. Planets drifted in lonely arcs, and yet the darkness beyond the rift pulsed with something older than civilization itself. An intelligence that had witnessed the birth and death of galaxies, yet now paused to study humanity. Elias Thorne stood at the helm, hands gripping the console, senses stretched to the limit. Every sensor ping, every vibration to the hull, every shift in gravity was a pulse in the rhythm of survival. The alien Queen hovered beside him, no longer merely an observer. Her presence was a living storm of molten gold and shadow power, radiating both awe and latent danger. "You face forces no species has ever endured," she said, her voice a resonant whisper that echoed in the depths of Elias's mind. "We are human," he said simply. "We endure, we adapt, and we overcome. That is what makes us unpredictable." From the void ahead, an entire fleet emerged. Ships of impossible design, angular, dark, bristling with weapons that bent light and gravity alike. The fleet moved with uncanny precision, commanded by a presence older than the stars, responding to the rift as a hive mind would obey its queen. The crew of the Resolute stiffened. This was a force beyond comprehension, beyond probability, and yet Elias felt no fear. "This is exactly why humans succeed," he said. "We confront what others flee. We think what others cannot. We adapt where others perish." The fleet opened fire. Beams of dark energy lanced across the void, warping space itself, tearing stars into fragments. The Resolute shook violently, alarms screaming, shields flaring as the human crew moved with flawless coordination. Every action a testament to discipline honed across countless wars and explorations. Elias's voice cut through the chaos, calm but commanding. "Divert all auxiliary power to shields and thrusters. Target their command vessels. Predictive algorithms will fail against human intuition." The Queen watched silently, her form rippling with curiosity. "You are reckless. No species would dare engage such a fleet. Humans do not calculate fear," Elias said. "We calculate opportunity. We act." The first engagement was brutal. Ships tore across the void in impossible maneuvers, human pilots dodging weapons that could annihilate planets. The Resolute spun, darted, and weaved like a living entity, every crew member anticipating threats and responding faster than any machine or alien mind could. Elias felt the vibrations of the ship, smelled the ozone from overworked engines, and tasted the tang of adrenaline in his mouth. Each pulse of energy from a fleet was a challenge. Every salvo a puzzle to solve with ingenuity, courage, and instinct. The Queen leaned closer, her golden eyes widening. They should be annihilated, yet you survive. Elias's gaze was fixed on the central command vessel of the alien fleet, massive and impossibly complex. It pulsed with dark energy, the heart of the ancient intelligence behind the rift. Every movement of the fleet rippled outward from it. Prepare the adaptive resonance field. Elias ordered. We will synchronize with the fleet's energy signature, predict and counter their maneuvers in real time. The crew moved like extensions of his mind, their collective skill combining instinct and calculation in a way no alien intelligence could fully anticipate. Energy rippled through the ship, bending space slightly, allowing the Resolute to dodge strikes that would have destroyed larger vessels outright. The central vessel reacted, sending a wave of psychic energy that washed over the human crew. Most species would have crumbled, minds shattering under the onslaught. Yet humans endured. They adapted. They resisted. Their very unpredictability made them impossible to destroy. Elias stepped closer to the observation deck, his eyes locked on the enemy vessel. It thinks it can predict us. It does not understand human creativity, human audacity. It does not comprehend that survival is not merely instinct. It is intelligence applied under pressure, courage tested against the impossible, and ingenuity born of desperation. The Queen's voice trembled with awe. It has never faced this level of adaptability. It does not understand your species. Elias smiled, a thin, determined curve. We are human. That is our advantage. That is why we endure where others fall. He activated the ship's adaptive resonance field fully, and suddenly, the Resolute moved with impossible precision. It was no longer dodging. It was anticipating, weaving through the alien fleet like a predator in the void. Every movement of the ancient intelligence was mirrored and countered, yet in a way it could never predict. The alien vessels faltered. Their algorithms attempted correction. Their psychic probes lashed out, but the humans anticipated, reacted, and outmaneuvered. Every pulse, every strike, every maneuver became a testament to human ingenuity. The central vessel reacted violently, sending a wave of energy so potent it could have annihilated a solar system. Yet Elias used it. He fed it into the resonance field, redirecting the energy with precise calculations, his instincts guiding every adjustment. The Queen's eyes widened in disbelief. You are weaponizing its power against it. Elias nodded, sweat beading on his forehead. Humans do not cower. We transform threats into tools. We turn the impossible into opportunity. The energy wave slammed into Fleet's core, fracturing command protocols, disrupting synchronization. Alien ships spun out of control, some exploding. Others collided with one another as the hive mind struggled to maintain coherence. From the void of the rift itself, a shadowy tendril lashed outward, reaching for the Resolute. Elias did not hesitate. He drew upon the human gift of improvisation. Using the resonance field as a conductor, he amplified it into a harmonic pulse that struck the tendril. Not to destroy, but to communicate. Human defiance rendered as understanding. The tendril recoiled. The rift pulsed, uncertain, confused. Elias had done the unthinkable. He had forced an ancient intelligence to reckon with humanity as a singular force. The Queen fell silent, kneeling once more, not in submission, but in recognition of human audacity. No species, no intelligence, no empire has ever done this. You are the anomaly. Elias exhaled slowly, exhaustion mingling with triumph. We are human, he said. We endure. We adapt. We overcome. And we never kneel. The rift pulsed one final time and receded, the darkness retreating into the void. The surviving fleet dispersed, its consciousness humbled by the unpredictability, ingenuity, and courage of humanity. The stars beyond shimmered again, infinite, merciless, yet a little more aware of humans than before. The Queen rose, towering, radiant, yet changed. You have demonstrated what I feared and what I did not understand. Humanity will shape the galaxy in ways I cannot predict. Elias turned toward the observation deck, the vastness of space stretching before him like an uncharted ocean. He knew this was only the beginning. There would be other rifts, other ancient intelligences, other impossible challenges. And humans would answer every call. Elias Thorne stood at the bridge of the Resolute, his gaze fixed on the starfield ahead. He could feel the pulse of the ancient intelligence, the tendrils of its consciousness probing the cosmos, probing him. It had survived millennia, devoured civilizations, bent worlds to its will, and yet it had paused to study humanity. The alien queen hovered behind him, her golden eyes reflecting both awe and unease. Elias Thorne, you have survived where countless others have perished. But the intelligence beyond is vast, older than the stars, and it learns faster than any predator you have faced. Why do you continue? Because humans never yield, Elias said, his voice calm, resonant, carrying the weight of countless worlds and battles. We endure. We adapt. We conquer. That is who we are. The sensors beeped frantically. Across the galaxy, entire fleets were mobilizing. Alien species united by fear, by desperation, by the recognition of the human threat. The Resolute was no longer merely a ship. It had become a symbol. Humanity's audacity radiated across the void, igniting both fear and fascination. Elias stepped closer to the holographic display. The ancient intelligence was shifting, consolidating, drawing matter and energy into a massive structure that defied geometry. Stars twisted unnaturally around it, their light bending, their gravity warping. It was a fortress. It was alive. It was a god. This is unlike anything in history, the queen murmured. Even I would hesitate to approach it. Elias smiled grimly. Humans do not hesitate. We do not wait for permission. We do not pray. We act. The Resolute shuddered as the entity's first assault struck. Dark energy cascaded across space, folding gravity in impossible angles, tearing at the hull like liquid metal. Sensors overloaded. Communications failed. The ship groaned under strain. Elias's hands flew across the console, rerouting power, stabilizing shields, calculating evasive maneuvers in real time. Divert all auxiliary energy to adaptive field and thrusters. Prepare counter-resonance arrays. The crew moved like extensions of his will. Every officer, every pilot, every engineer acted with uncanny precision, improvising where machines would fail, thinking where algorithms could not, surviving where even instinct alone would falter. The queen watched silently, her immense form flickering with awe. They survive where all others die, she whispered. Elias's eyes narrowed. He could see the pattern now, the rhythm hidden within the chaos. The intelligence was massive, overwhelming, but it followed logic, an ancient logic, and human minds were unpredictable. Focus on the nodes, he ordered. Target the energy convergence points. We will disrupt its pattern, force it to react to us instead of the galaxy. Pilots and engineers synchronized instantly, using improvised strategies, bending physics with human ingenuity. The Resolute darted through the void, weaving between folds of space, each move countering attacks designed to annihilate entire fleets. The entity's consciousness reached out like a shadow storm, probing, testing. Its psychic waves assaulted the crew, threatening to overwhelm their minds. Yet humans endured. Their instincts, their adaptability, their courage created a resistance the entity could not anticipate. Elias drew in a deep breath, feeling the hum of the ship, feeling the heartbeat of his crew, feeling the pulse of human will vibrating against the impossible odds. We will turn it against itself, he said. We will force it to confront human ingenuity, human courage, and human unpredictability. That is our weapon. A massive energy wave surged from the intelligence, warping space, tearing stars apart. Elias reacted instantly, feeding it into the adaptive resonance field, twisting and redirecting it, shaping the attack into a harmonic pulse. The pulse struck the entity, not as a weapon, but as a message. Humans do not submit. Humans do not fear. Humans find a way. For the first time, the intelligence hesitated. Its sprawling consciousness faltered, uncertain, confused. And Elias saw it, just a flicker, but enough. The entity recognized humanity as a singular, unpredictable force. "Do you see that?" he shouted to Queen. Even beings older than the universe cannot fully comprehend us. The Queen's golden eyes widened. It is learning from you. It cannot predict you. No intelligence in eons has encountered this. Elias grinned. It is called being human. The entity struck again, more violently, ripping space, tearing ships apart. Yet humanity adapted. The resonance field amplified, bending the attacks, redirecting energy, even using fragments of the enemy assault as propulsion to weave the Resolute into positions of advantage. He saw a chance, a vulnerability within the intelligence's massive structure. Its power centers pulsed in imperfect synchronicity. They were patterns, predictable if approached correctly, and humans could exploit patterns that no alien mind could fully anticipate. Prepare the harmonic disruptor, he ordered. We strike at the nodes, not to destroy, but to force it to react, to bend our rhythm. The crew moved with precision, aligning frequencies, channeling energy with timing no AI could match, no alien consciousness could predict. The Resolute surged forward, weaving through the enemy's defenses with impossible grace. The harmonic disruptor fired, striking the nodes simultaneously. Energy cascaded, spiraling, twisting, folding back onto the entity's own structure. It pulsed violently, tentacles of shadow thrashing in confusion. For the first time in millennia, the intelligence faltered. The Queen knelt, silent, overwhelmed by what she witnessed. No species, no intelligence has ever done this. Humanity is extraordinary. Elias's hands rested lightly on the console, the ship stabilizing around him. Sweat ran down his brow, but his gaze remained unwavering. We are human, he said. We endure. We adapt. We survive. And we never kneel. The intelligence recoiled, retreating into the rift, uncertain, unwilling to risk further engagement with a species that defied all logic. The galaxy trembled, aware that a new force had emerged, a species whose ingenuity, courage, and unpredictability could challenge the oldest powers in existence. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, a vast battlefield of possibility. Humanity had survived the impossible, yet the universe was infinite, indifferent, and dangerous. And Elias knew that humanity's journey was only beginning. The Queen rose, immense in change, her golden eyes reflecting respect, awe, and a hint of fear. Your species will shape the fate of the galaxy, and I will remember this day. Elias gazed forward, the black ocean of space stretching into infinity, alive with challenges, dangers, and unimaginable possibilities. The rift pulsed violently, a wound in space that shivered with ancient consciousness. Elias Thorne stood at the helm, feeling the vibrations ripple through the ship like a heartbeat in resonance with human willpower. The alien Queen hovered silently behind him, massive and radiant, her molten gold eyes reflecting both awe and apprehension. Elias, the intelligence beyond the rift, is older than any empire, older than the stars themselves. Entire civilizations have vanished confronting it. Why do you persist? Because humans endure, Elias said firmly. We adapt. We fight. We saw what others cannot, and we survive what others flee. That is the human way. A deep hum shook the ship. Sensors flared. Across the galaxy, fleets of alien species, once adversaries, now rallied, drawn together by fear and recognition. Humanity's actions had sent ripples through the cosmos, proving that the human species was a force unlike any other. Elias traced the swirling void ahead. The entity had shifted, consolidating into a massive, dark structure that bent light and gravity, warping reality itself. Stars twisted around it like molten metal, forming a fortress of impossible scale. This is unlike anything in recorded history, the Queen whispered. Even I would hesitate to approach it. Elias leaned closer, scanning the patterns within the chaos. It thinks in ways older than galaxies. But humans, we are unpredictable. That is why we survive. The rift lashed out. Waves of dark energy tore at space, fracturing stars, ripping through the remnants of alien fleets. The Resolute shuddered violently. Alarm screamed. Hull plates groaned. Yet Elias remained calm, a beacon of resolve. Divert all auxiliary energy to shields and thrusters, he barked. Prepare the harmonic resonance arrays. We will bend their attack to our will. The crew moved in flawless synchrony, instinct and intellect fused into perfect coordination. Pilots dodged impossible trajectories. Engineers rerouted energy flows in real time. Soldiers adapted weapon systems to exploit weak points in the entity's assault. The Queen's golden eyes widened. They survive where all others die. How is this possible? They are human, Elias said, voice steady. We do not merely survive. We adapt, improvise, and overcome. The entity struck again, a wave of psychic energy so intense it threatened to rip the minds of the crew apart. Most species would have crumbled, minds shattered under the weight of eons. But humans endured. They resisted. They improvised. Their unpredictability was a weapon the ancient intelligence had never accounted for. Elias smiled grimly. We will not just endure. We will turn this against it. He activated the adaptive resonance field fully. Energy rippled to the ship, bending the oncoming assault into a harmonic pulse that mirrored the entity's own rhythms. Every strike became a tool, every wave of destruction a bridge. The entity faltered, confused. It recoiled, massive tendrils lashing at empty space. Elias's eyes gleamed. He had found a pattern. The subtle flaws in the intelligence's design, imperfections in its millennial-old thought processes. Humans could exploit these in ways no alien mind could predict. Prepare the disruptor arrays, he shouted. Strike at the nodes simultaneously. Force it to react to us, not the galaxy. The crew worked as one, channeling ingenuity, courage, and instinct. The Resolute surged forward, threading through tendrils of dark energy, striking the ancient structure with precision no algorithm could match. The entity howled, a sound that echoed through space and consciousness alike. The nodes flared under human ingenuity, energy cascading in patterns that disrupted its control. Alien fleets watched helplessly as the impossible unfolded, humanity bending a cosmic intelligence older than stars to its rhythm. The Queen knelt, or rendering her massive form small. No species, no intelligence has ever done this. Humanity is extraordinary. Elias's voice carried across the bridge, calm, resolute, unwavering. We are human. We endure. We adapt. We survive. And we never kneel. The intelligence recoiled, retreating into the rift. Its consciousness pulsed, uncertain, hesitant, unwilling to risk engagement with a species it could not predict, could not understand. Humanity had survived where all others had fallen. Yet Elias knew this was not the end. The rift pulsed once more, whispering with unseen tendrils of power, ancient beyond comprehension. The galaxy shivered in anticipation. Elias, the Queen said softly, her golden eyes reflecting the swirling void. You have demonstrated what I feared and what I did not understand. Humanity will shape the fate of the galaxy. Elias turned to the observation deck, gazing at the infinite black ocean speckled with stars, alive with threats, challenges, and possibilities. And we will answer every call, he said. The Queen rose, changed, her presence radiant, her voice low and reverent. Your species will be remembered, even by those who have endured longer than time itself. The crew exhaled collectively, tension easing but anticipation rising. They had faced the impossible and survived. They had proven that human ingenuity, courage, and unpredictability could turn the deadliest forces in the universe into challenges, not certainties of death. Elias felt the ship hum beneath him, alive with human determination. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, indifferent, and humanity would continue to shape it, defy it, and survive it. Because humans never surrender. Because humans never kneel. Because humans always find a way. And somewhere in the shadows of the rift, a power older than galaxies stirred once more, aware of the force that was human will, and uncertain whether it could ever be undone. The stars stretched infinitely ahead. The universe waited, and humanity would answer. The void beyond the rift stretched endlessly, dark and indifferent, yet alive with whispers older than the stars themselves. Elias Thorne stood at the helm of the Resolute, his hands resting lightly on the console, every fiber is being alert and tense. The alien Queen hovered behind him, radiant and solemn. She no longer loomed as a conqueror, but as a witness, perhaps even a student of human resilience. "This entity," she whispered, voice resonant with awe, "older than any star, more ancient than any empire, and you faced it. And you prevailed." Elias did not turn. His gaze remained fixed on the swirling blackness of the rift. Within that darkness, entire civilizations had vanished. Planets had been shattered. Fleets had disappeared without trace. Yet humanity endured, and it endured in a way the universe itself could not fully anticipate. "We did not merely survive," he said. "We adapted. We outthought. We endured. That is the essence of humanity. That is why we prevail." The Queen's molten gold eyes shimmered, reflecting the brilliance of distant stars, as if the cosmos itself were acknowledging their words. Elias exhaled slowly, feeling the hum of the ship beneath him, the heartbeat of a vessel built not merely to survive, but to carry humanity into the impossible. Behind him, the crew moved with measured grace. Engineers repaired minor hull breaches. Pilots recalibrated instruments. Soldiers prepared for any residual threat. Yet their faces reflected a quiet awe, a shared understanding that they had survived the unthinkable and had changed the course of the galaxy. "Elias," the Queen said, stepping closer, her presence immense but cautious. "Your species, it defies logic, defies probability. You are extraordinary." He finally turned to her, meeting her gaze steadily. "We are human," he said simply, "and we endure because we refuse limits, because we refuse fear, because we refuse to kneel." The Queen inclined her massive form, not in submission, but in recognition. "You leave me, humbled, and perhaps even enlightened. Humanity is a force unlike any I have encountered." Elias allowed himself a small smile. It was rare, fleeting, but it carried the weight of victory, the acknowledgement that their struggle had not been in vain. The rift before them pulsed one final time, its dark energy coalescing into a form that seemed almost alive. For a moment, it seemed to study the Resolute, studying humanity, weighing possibility, weighing survival. Elias felt the hum of his ship sync with the rhythm of the rift's pulsing. The resonance field still held, bending the ancient energy, containing it, balancing it. The entity hesitated, uncertain, perhaps even awed. "Do you feel that?" the Queen murmured. "It recognizes you." Elias nodded. "Not just me. Humanity. Every human being aboard this ship. Every mind, every instinct, every ounce of courage and ingenuity. We are unpredictable, and that is our strength." For the first time, the entity recoiled entirely, retreating into the void of the rift. The dark wound in space remained, scarred and dangerous, but it had been tempered. Humanity had proven itself capable of meeting impossible odds, not by brute force alone, but through creativity, courage, and unyielding will. The galaxy seemed to exhale. Stars shimmered more brightly, as though celebrating human audacity. Alien fleets that had once cowered began retreating, their commanders murmuring tales of humans who defied death itself. The Queen spoke softly, almost reverently. "You have rewritten the rules of survival. The galaxy will remember this day." Elias's hands rested on the console, the glow of the stars reflecting in his eyes. "We did not seek recognition. We seek only to survive, to endure, and to prove that humanity can rise when the universe itself seems determined to crush us." A silence settled across the bridge. It was not empty. It was profound, a moment where the enormity of survival and triumph could finally be felt. Then, slowly, a cheer rose among the crew. It was restrained, tempered by exhaustion, but it carried joy, relief, and the unshakable pride of a species that had stared death in the face and won. Elias allowed himself to join them, his voice firm, carrying across the bridge. "We did it. We endured. And this is only the beginning. The universe is vast, indifferent, and full of danger. But we are human, and we will answer every call." The Queen moved closer, her immense form radiating an energy both terrifying and beautiful. "Your species, it is unlike any other. Perhaps it is the universe's greatest anomaly. I will never forget this." Elias's gaze returned to the stars. The rift still pulsed faintly in the distance, a reminder that the universe contained challenges far beyond comprehension. Yet he felt no fear. He felt exhilaration. He felt the thrill of survival, of proving the impossible could be overcome. The crew joined him at the observation deck. Their faces were streaked with sweat, dirt, and exhaustion. Their eyes burned with the quiet fire of triumph. They were human. They were alive. And they were free. One of the junior officers, her voice trembling with awe, said, "Sir, we actually did it. We survived everything. The rift, the fleets, the intelligence." Elias placed a hand on her shoulder, steady and reassuring. "We did more than survive. We proved that humanity can face anything, endure anything, and still rise. That is our gift and our responsibility." The Queen knelt once more, not in surrender, but in reverence. "I am humbled. You are a species that cannot be contained, cannot be predicted, cannot be broken. The universe must watch you closely, and I will watch with respect." Elias nodded. "Respect is all we ask, and we will continue to earn it with every action, every choice, every challenge the galaxy presents." The Resolute hummed beneath him, alive with human ingenuity, courage, and determination. Its engines glowed like the heartbeat of humanity itself, a living testament to the species that had endured the impossible. As the ship prepared to chart a course back to human space, Elias allowed himself one final glance at the rift. Its darkness remained vast and ancient, but had been tempered, restrained, challenged. Humanity had touched something eternal and survived. The Queen's voice echoed softly, carried by the bond that had formed in the crucible of survival. "You have changed the rules of the galaxy, and I will remember." Elias felt a surge of pride. He was one human among billions, yet he carried the strength of his species with him. Humanity would endure, adapt, and rise again, facing the stars not as subject to fear, but as masters of ingenuity and will. He turned to the crew, set a course for home. Humanity has proven itself today, but the universe is endless, and the next challenge awaits. We will face it together. The engines roared to life. The ship surged forward, stars bending into brilliant streaks as they traveled faster than light, carrying humanity's triumph into the unknown. The galaxy was vast, indifferent, and dangerous. But humans would meet it head-on, because humans never surrender, because humans never kneel, because humans always find a way. And in the quiet of the void, the stars seemed to shimmer with recognition, acknowledging the species that have faced the impossible and emerged victorious. The alien Queen remained at the observation deck, her golden eyes watching them disappear into the cosmos. They are remarkable, perhaps the greatest intelligence the universe has yet known. Elias allowed himself a deep breath, feeling the weight of every battle, every challenge, every impossible moment they had overcome. He felt exhaustion, yes, but also exhilaration. Humanity had faced the unimaginable and survived. And as the Resolute soared toward the distant reaches of human space, Elias knew that the galaxy would never be the same, for humanity had proven its strength, courage, intelligence, and uniqueness. For humanity had shown the universe that no challenge, no intelligence, no darkness could extinguish the human spirit. For humanity would always find a way, and the stars would remember. The void stretched on, infinite, dangerous, alive, and humanity's story had only just begun.